So this chapter describes what is time. Time is correlative with space. So therefore, the fundamental definition of atomic time is the time covered by the sun in passing over one atom is called atomic time. So atom is occupying some space, very tiny space, correct? So if the sun takes small amount of time to traverse that space, that is called atomic time. So time and space are correlative. Then the description was given of different durations, different measurements of time, up to the duration of the human beings being 100 years according to a particular calculation. What is that calculation? Right from 1 through t, 8 by 13,500th of a second. Very small duration. Then multiples of that till it comes to 1 kashta. 1 kashta is 8 seconds. Then there is 1 lagu, which is 2 minutes. Then there is 1 danda, which is 30 minutes, half an hour. Then there is 1 prahara, 3 hours. 1 day, 12 hours. 4 praharas make up 1 day. And similar duration is 1 night, again 12 hours. So 1 day and night cycle is 24 hours. 1 paksha is 15 days. 1 fortnight. Shukla paksha, Krishna paksha, we say. Bright and dark fortnight of the moon. Then 2 pakshas comprise 1 month. Shukla paksha and Krishna paksha. Together there is 1 month. About 30 days. Then 12 months comprise 1 calendar year. That's a calendar we generally are observing, 12 months. It's actually, specifically speaking, it is a solar calendar. Because there is another calendar called the lunar calendar. Based on the movement of the moon, there is another calendar. This 12 months comprising 1 calendar year is the solar calendar. 12 months, each consisting of 30 days. The lunar day or the lunar cycle of the tithis, 15 tithis in 1 fortnight, 1 paksha, that is a different calculation. That is based on the phase of the moon. If you understand what is the meaning of phase of the moon. The moon is either completely dark or completely bright. We say a new moon and full moon. I don't know why they call it new moon. It is Amavasya and Purnima. That's the correct name. So, from Amavasya to Purnima, the moon keeps growing brighter. So, if you divide that into 15 divisions, each division is called 1 tithi. Pratipat, Dvitiya, Tritiya. These are all Sanskrit names for 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So, in a calendar year, according to the solar calculation, there are 360 days. 12 months, each month having 30 days. So, 360 days. A human being lives up to 100 years. Why this up to is given? Because the full duration of a lifespan of a human being is 100 years. But a human being may die before that. That is called akala mrityu. Akala mrityu means he has not lived his full lifespan. He has not lived his full lifespan. So why this akala mrityu? What is the reason? Why somebody doesn't live their full lifespan, 100 years? Particularly nowadays, 80 years, 90 years, 70 years, sometimes even 30 years. What is the reason? Huh? Previous life karma is not exactly the reason. The duration of life is shortened when somebody does grievous sinful activities. The best example is in the Mahabharata. The Kauravas, they died untimely because of insulting the most chaste lady, Draupadi. That is why they died young. So, the duration of life of 100 years is the maximum duration of human life on the earth. Otherwise, it is shortened. Now, the sense of time is due to the movement of the sun. Because sun gives us what is called as a perception of day and night. Correct? When the sun is in the sky, we say day. After the sun is set and it is not visible, we say night. It is dark. So, here it is explained, the role of the sun is so important, especially for the human beings on the earth, and of course for all the other living beings on the upper planet. In the previous purport, Prabhupada quoted one Brahma Samhita verse, "Yachakshuresha savita sakala grahanam raja samasta suramurtir ashesha teja." The sun is described as the eye of the Supreme Lord. Now, when it is described here, the sun is the eye of the Supreme Lord. That eye is of the universal form of the Lord. The universal form. The sun is very, 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 very bright. One planet is illuminating the entire universe consisting of millions of planets. Can you imagine how much light the sun is giving out? The scientists can't even calculate how much energy the earth is receiving. One planet, among millions of planets, one planet, how much energy it is receiving in 1 second. Some calculation one scientist had done, I had read somewhere. But that's just an approximation. So imagine the sun is giving continuously light for millions of years, for millions of planets, continuously, no rest, no break. So that sun is described as rotating within the fixed orbit of eternal time. Even the sun's movement is governed by Kala. But the sun is described as Sakala Grahanam Raja. The sun is described as the king of all planetary systems. Why? Because every planet, the day and night is decided or determined by the movement of the sun. And the sun is moving at a very high speed. We can't make out. For us it seems like very, very gradually the sun is moving. That is our defective, faulty perception of the movement of the sun in its orbit. That's not the actual. Just like when you see an aeroplane in the sky, you see it moving very gradually across the horizon. But actually it is going at 800 kilometers an hour. If a car were to go, some terrestrial vehicle were to go 800 kilometers per hour, it would just disappear from your vision. You can't even see it properly. Is it not? Have you seen racing cars? 240 kilometers per hour and all they go, correct? They don't even touch the speed of the aeroplane, correct? But the aeroplane in the sky, it appears to be going so slow. So this perception is highly relative. Our perception of time, space, movement, everything is relative. Everything is relative. So the sun is moving at a very, very high speed in its orbit. And it is said, the sun enlivens all living entities with his unlimited heat and light. Unlimited heat and light. Light we can understand, illuminating the different planets. Only then we are able to see. Without illumination, without light, can we see? We cannot see. So we are dependent on the sun for seeing, for our vision. Also, the sun supplies energy by which life is sustained on every planet, including this earth planet. Sun sustains life on the planet. How does it sustain life? The sunshine is giving energy for all the bodies which are assimilating this sunshine along with some water, some grains, or some soil. Different ways. The living entities in different bodies are assimilating the energy of the sun, and they are surviving. They are living, maintaining their body. So life is sustained by the sun, the heat of the sun, energy of the sun. Sun also is described here as diminishing the duration of life of all living entities, reducing the duration. When we are born, we have a certain duration of life. But with every sunrise and sunset, our duration of life is reducing. And we don't realize that. We foolishly think, oh, I am growing. I am becoming big. That is our foolishness. Actually, we are dying every day. And what is called as death, in the scriptures it is said, death is the last stroke of kāla. The last stroke, when you are told, get out of this body. You can't stay anymore. Get out. We become very attached to the body we are living in. But we are forced to leave this body at the time of so-called death. But actually, what is happening with this body? The body is constantly changing. And this change of body is not at all perceived by people in general. They are not perceiving the change in body. Every moment the body is changing. And certainly the body is changing every day. But as long as the change seems to be favorable for our sense enjoyment, we are very proud or we are very happy about it, this change. Like what we say, growth. Actually, this body is a dead body. It does not grow. This is a shocking piece of information. This is a table. Will it grow? This room or this set of walls, will they grow? No, they never grow. So the body is like dead body, like the walls of this room or like the table that is here. This is dead, that is dead, this is also dead. Then how is it? It appears to be growing. That is the illusion, grand illusion Maya is creating for all of us. I'm growing, I'm becoming big. So what is really happening is the sun is diminishing the duration of life. And why is the sun diminishing the duration of life? In order to release the living entities from their illusion of material attachment. Typically, we become attached to different material things beginning with the body. First attachment is for the body. And then the attachment for the things connected with the body. So, to release us from this material attachment, because at the time of death, what is going to happen? We have to leave everything and go. We have to leave this body and all the bodily connections, we have to leave and go. So, in order to release us from this material attachment, what is the sun doing? Diminishing the duration of life. But who can understand this? Only intelligent people, wise people, those who are guided by the scriptures, by the Shastra. They can understand that I should not foolishly become attached materially. I should not be materially attached. The very nature of this material existence is change. Constantly change is happening. We are forced to experience this change of body, change of situation, change of time. Time itself is never static. So this sun is diminishing the duration of life in order to release us from our illusion of material attachment. And the sun is also enlarging the path of elevation to the heavenly kingdom. How is the sun enlarging the path of elevation to the heavenly kingdom? What is the basis for somebody to be promoted to the heavenly kingdom? Heavenly kingdom means the facility for our enjoyment, material enjoyment, in accordance with the laws of nature is much, much greater. So how can one promote oneself to heavenly planets? By pious activities. Among the pious activities, the simplest or the most direct pious activity is worship of the sun. Worship of the sun. So if somebody worships the sun, then they are very easily able to be promoted to the heavenly planets. Very easily able to promote the heavenly planets. Also, worship of the sun ensures that a person will be able to maintain good health. In the Shastras, it is recommended if somebody wants good health, they should worship the sun. Different demigods. The worship of different demigods is recommended for different material purposes. So, the sun is actually giving us so much benefit. We're taking so much benefit from the sun. We are able to see only because of the sun. We are able to sustain life only because of the sunshine, the energy from the sun. And the duration of life in this body is diminishing because of the sun. So like this, we are taking so much benefit. Therefore, one should offer respect at least once every 5 years with all ingredients of worship. Just like people observe what is called as Ganesh Chaturthi. It's not that you have to worship Ganesha only once a year. The meaning of Ganesh Chaturthi is at least once a year you worship Ganesha. That is the idea. That's the idea behind observing a festival. So the sun, it is said here, at least once every 5 years you worship the sun with all the ingredients of worship. But actually, according to the culture, Vedic culture, a person is supposed to worship the sun at least 3 times a day. It's called Trisandhya. Sandhya means junction periods. There is Pratas Sandhya. Pratas Sandhya is the junction period between the end of the night and the beginning of the day, when the sun rises. So sunrise time is called Pratas Sandhya. Then there is the middle period of the day itself. One half of the day and the second half of the day. The junction period of these two halves, when the sun is overhead, that's called Madhya Anha, Madhyanha. The middle period of the day. Then there is the Sayam Sandhya, when the sun is setting, the day is coming to an end and night is going to begin. So these 3 junction periods are very auspicious for spiritual activity. And at these 3 times, we should worship the sun. And in the Vedic culture, there is something called chanting of the Gayatri Mantra. The chanting of the Gayatri Mantra has to be done especially during these 3 Sandhya periods, these 3 junctions periods. But if somebody is unable to worship the sun, at least worship the sun once every 5 years. That is what is recommended here. Because we are taking so much benefit from the sun. So, according to the scriptures, as soon as we take birth as human beings especially, we are obligated to 6 different categories of personalities. Those who understand that ultimately we are dependent on the Supreme Lord for everything, they directly worship the Supreme Lord. For them there is no need to worship any other personality. But if somebody is not able to understand this fact, that we are dependent on the Supreme Lord and He is providing everything, at least they should understand their dependence upon the agents of the Supreme Lord. There are different agents of the Supreme Lord who are directly supplying us our necessities. Just like the sun. The sun is providing us illumination, sun is providing us energy. So we should worship the sun, or we should offer our gratitude, our respect to the sun. Like this, there are many devatas. The sun god is one of the devatas. Then the moon god, the fire god, the wind god. So, devatas, we should offer worship, respect, gratitude to the devatas. Deva Rishi. The sages are giving us knowledge. Any knowledge that we receive from any source, it is traced back to the saintly persons and the sages who have systematically disseminated this knowledge in human society since the beginning of creation. So we have to offer respects to the sages, Rishi, Deva Rishi, Bhuta, general living entities. So many living entities we take benefit. Just like the honey bee. We are taking honey. Can anybody manufacture honey? Extracting the juice from the flowers. What does the bee do? It goes to different flowers, extracts that flower juice, and then assimilates in a honeycomb and produces honey. If you squeeze the juice out of any plant, any flower that the honeybee is going and sucking, it will be so horrible taste. So horrible taste. But how is the honey bee making this honey so sweet and so wonderful? Madhu. So we cannot manufacture madhu by whatever analysis they do of the honey and try to find out what are the ingredients and how to synthesize that in the lab. They cannot manufacture honey, not possible. So we are indebted to the honey bee. The cow gives us milk. It eats grass, it drinks some water, eats some hay, some vegetable waste it may eat, banana peel it will eat, and it will give us wonderful milk. So nourishing, so tasty. So many products can be made with milk. So can we manufacture milk out of the ingredients the cow is? Or with whatever, use whatever ingredients you want, can you manufacture milk? Cow milk? No, we cannot. So we are indebted to the cow. Like that, we are indebted to so many other creatures. So, bhuta, apta, to our, beginning with our parents and other forefathers, relatives, family members. They are also, we are taking help from them, we are taking some service from them, so we are indebted to them. Nrinam, mankind in general. This is specifically applicable for human society. Just like we all don't grow our food, we all don't grow cotton, we all don't weave the cotton which is made into fabric. We don't necessarily stitch our cloth. Some tailor is stitching, some weaver is weaving, some farmer is growing cotton. We take benefit from all that, from all of them. So we are indebted to different human beings also, humankind, Nrinam. Pitranam, specifically forefathers are mentioned, separate from Apta, forefathers. So, since we are taking service, we have to offer them what is called as Pancha-mahayajna. That is the system in the scriptures described. So, among this Pancha-mahayajna, the most important among all these personalities is the sun. So, sun has to be worshipped. If we are not worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but somebody who worships the Supreme Lord, who is the master, controller, ultimate beneficiary of everything, then there is no need to worship any other personality. Worship of the Lord includes worship of everyone else. Just like watering the root of a tree nourishes all the parts of the tree, just like supplying food to the stomach nourishes every part of this body, exactly like that, worshipping the Supreme Lord is equivalent to worshipping all the devatas, all the rishis, all the other living beings, all the other creatures. worship of our parents, worship of our relatives, family members from whom we are taking service, worship of humankind, worship of forefathers. Everything is included in worship of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So therefore, one should offer him respects to the Sun God once every 5 years. Is not applicable to devotees who are worshipping the Supreme Lord Krishna. Other than the devotees who worship Krishna, everybody else must worship the Sun God, otherwise they incur what is called as runa, debt. So that debt they had to pay in different ways. So that is what is described in this verse by Maitreya to Vidura while describing the movement of this sun. It's the basis of this time. I'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.